I've had my 2007 Suzuki Ignis GLV VT for just under a year now, and well, I've decided to upgrade cars. However, in this video, I'm going to tell you what it's been like living with this bad boy. First things first, let's start off by talking through what work I've had done to this car in its time with me. So, I've had the front and the rear windscreen washers redone. Well, because the front jets didn't actually squirt onto the windscreen, but instead over the top or off to the side, and then the rear one just didn't work at all. The most expensive piece of work I've had done to this car by far would be the suspension. See, the front suspension is basically new. New shocks, new springs, new everything. Rides a lot better for it, but yeah, that was quite expensive and very inconvenient. Anyway, while I'm down here, let me talk you through some things that I've actually bought for this car in addition. Starting off with these wheel covers. Nice black wheel covers. Kind of sort of lost the one that was on this wheel at the original set, and so I bought some new ones and thought, well, I might as well take the opportunity to buy some nice stylish black ones which match the door handles and the roof bars and give a slightly sporty edge. Other things I've purchased for this car include an atlas, because despite what my peers would say, having a proper pucker physical atlas in your car is a must. And I've also purchased a phone holder, or well, technically three, because the first one had on the windscreen, fell off and snapped. Second one I had on my air vent, snapped the air vent. So yeah, this one has then been sat on here thusly. Yet more things which I've purchased for this car include an emergency roadside kit, and actually the parcel shelf too, because like a lot of used cars these days actually, didn't come with a parcel shelf. While I'm back here, let me talk you through a couple of negative points about this car. So, the gas struts for the boot, they're not the best. Don't get me wrong, they do their job. One might argue they do their job too well, because they keep the boot open perfectly fine. The only trouble is, you have to push the boot up that bit harder to actually open it. It doesn't swing open quite as nicely and as smoothly as you'd expect. The other thing, of course, is the size of the boot, or rather, the lack of. It's not a huge amount, especially for me and my needs. Of course, probably the biggest thing with this car for me is the engine. It's small and it's petrol, which means it's not hugely powerful, and it really just doesn't cover the sort of mileage that I need. I mean, to get up to the Scottish border, for example, I'd have to fill this thing up completely at least once, maybe twice. Dog's car could do it on under half a tank. Kicking off the driving segment in and around town then, and can't lie, this car is actually perfect in an urban environment. It's got plenty of power, it sits at speed well, and it's very forgiving insofar as if you slow down that bit too much and the revs drop, all you need to do is give it a bit of throttle, it's back up to speed, no bother. The light steering coupled with the small width and the short wheelbase all make this a very manoeuvrable car too. And the back is very flat, which is very handy for reversing, because all I have to do is look at the rear windscreen, literally just behind me, and then I can judge how far away I am from something, because, well, where the back windscreen is pretty much where all of the back of the car is. This thing is quite an agricultural gearbox, but oddly I rather like that. It adds to that sort of utilitarian feeling, aura, you might say. And what further adds to that are the cubby spaces either side of the stereo system, which are very handy for storing sunglasses. That being said though, it's not all rosy. You see, there is one design flaw with this car, and that is that to operate the horn, you have a couple of little buttons just here on the steering wheel, which are very easy to catch unintentionally, and yet when you intentionally want to operate the horn, they're actually quite difficult to do. There's been a couple of instances where I've got to use my horn, but by the time my brain has worked out how to do so, it's been just that second too late and the moment's gone. In terms of driving on country roads, it's actually alright. Being light and petrol, it's nippy, you could say. You also sit higher up than in almost any other hatchback, meaning that potholes and dips in the road or even in tracks just aren't an issue. Furthermore, that height advantage is very useful in town when you're trying to spot the changes in traffic lights. That being said, there is a disadvantage to the height and lightness of this car, and that is that it doesn't inspire confidence in the corners. In terms of motorway driving, that's where the Ignis really falls down. You see, that small petrol engine revs at 3,500 RPM at motorway speeds. That's once you get it up to them, of course. The boxy shape and lack of insulation also generates a lot of wind noise. Still, at least those small 14-inch wheels don't generate any road noise really. One other motorway consideration with this car is, of course, as mentioned, the fact that the engine and the range just aren't suitable. I will give away just one spoiler about my next car. It's got air conditioning. That being said though, although this hasn't, I genuinely haven't minded. Sure, okay, right now on a hot summer's day when I'm filming and I've got all the windows up, I'm bloody boiling, but, I mean, if I wasn't filming, which I'm not for 99.5% of the time, just roll down the windows, use nature's air conditioning. One other consideration with this car is the fact that it's not got any Bluetooth connectivity or even an aux point, meaning that your only sources of media are either the radio or the CDs. That being said though, I haven't actually minded using CDs. It's quite a vibe. In conclusion, I've really liked living with my 2007 Suzuki Ignis. Sure, its engine and boot don't meet my requirements, but overall I could not have asked for a better first car. It's treated me well, besides the suspension saga, and I'd like to think that I've treated it well too, having cleaned it religiously. And kept it in one piece, of course. And on that note, we're going to end off this video. Thank you very much for watching it. Tune in on Wednesday to find out what my new car is, and then tune in same time, same place next Sunday for a full in-depth video review of said car. Till then though, bye for now.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.